Let's talk about three positions that Christians should take in times of crisis. And in this video, let's look at number one: don't remain silent, but engage. When we think about God's grace, it is both a saving and sanctifying grace. And so God comes into our lives and He rescues us. And then He also transforms us so that we can embody His goodness to the world. And so the gospel is a gospel that changes us, and that change must play itself out within the societies that God has placed us in. And so when we think about gospel conviction must lead to gospel change and not gospel complacency. And so we cannot be people who are saying that we have believed in Jesus Christ and that Christ is our Lord, that Christ has truly impacted our lives, and yet we living in a society that is plagued with multiple issues. We choose to disengage from that instead of facing it. And so if we have truly embraced the gospel, then we've got to be a people that are continuously looking to see that gospel play itself out within the societies we are a part of. And so recently in South Africa, we are just being plagued by these two particular issues that we are having to face, and that is of gender-based violence and xenophobic attacks. And so as Christians, as people, you are saying that, man, we have a gospel, a Jesus Christ that is calling us to live for Him, then we've got to engage those issues. We've got to take a stance, a position that actually approaches those issues, that really looks to really be part of the change in this crisis that we are currently facing. And so in this series, we want to talk about the three positions to take. And so in this video, let's focus on the position number one: don't remain silent, but engage. And so inaction actually grows in the presence of ignorance and distance. And so the further we are from something and the less we know about something, the more likely we are to do nothing about it. Compounded with that as well is the fact that when oftentimes we're faced with issues that seem to be just too much for us to comprehend or to engage or be part of the solution or change, we tend to actually retreat, right? We want to retreat into the ivory towers of our escapism, our comfort, so that we don't have to face and confront what is in front of us. And so the first position is saying, man, don't retreat, but engage. We've got to be a people who are living for Christ by engaging the crises that are plaguing our society. And so recently I've been just contemplating my own escapism as a foreign national in Joburg that has got some hotspots or where xenophobic attacks are just flaring up all around us. And so I've been contemplating my escapism, because as a foreign national, between my place where I live and the place that I work, I haven't needed to face any acts of violence. And so the violence for me has been somehow at a distance in some sense, and I haven't really been confronted or needed to confront it or see it. But as I've been contemplating a lot about that, I've just realized the place where I work, which is my church, a church that I really deeply love, a church that provides employment for so many people, and a church that is such an awesome place to worship for so many of our congregants. I started to realize, imagine if our church were to be burned down because our church employs foreign nationals at it. Or imagine some of the people that attend our church, our congregants, their businesses were to be burned down because they also employ foreign nationals. Or when you think about your own home or my own home, and this really came home for myself and my wife when our housekeeper approached us during the course of the week, saying to us to say that, man, she started to actually feel like that perhaps she wouldn't be coming to work for the rest of the week because it was getting dangerous for her to travel via taxis in town. And so all of a sudden, just it hit us really deeply to realize that these xenophobic attacks, though they may be occurring at a distance from us, is really impacting people in and around our spheres of influence. And imagine if we were to be right in the middle of it with no escape, we would have to actually face it. And so retreat is never a great position to adopt in the face of crisis. And sadly, oftentimes, it's when things start to affect us personally that we then choose to realize that we have to engage with it. We have to engage with it. And so I want to urge us not to wait until these things affect us personally before we engage with it. The gospel of Jesus Christ will call us to be people that would engage, and not retreat. And so adopt a position of engagement. And so engage when it comes to gender-based violence with perhaps survivors of gender-based violence, so that you can build an empathy for what's really happening in our land around this crisis, so that we can become a voice for the gospel in and through it. Engage the looted areas all around the city. You go take a drive downtown or into Alex or Katlehong or those kind of certain places. Allow yourself to see and feel the injustice that is occurring and in this moment, so that you can begin to find ways of solutions as we engage with this. Engage with your circles of influence, urging your circles of influence to take action, because people are suffering, people are in need of help, and there's so much we can do. Because oftentimes times of crisis can feel like they're just too much for us, right? We can feel like at times that, man, what can we do? And so we are always looking for the silver bullet, the one thing perhaps that we could do that could stem the tide, change the course of what is happening currently. But as I'm sure you know in your own life, that lasting change is not something that you just wake up and instantaneously just are able to do. But no, it is as you take small little steps forward that you actually begin to actually make a difference. And so sometimes we need to go through the valley so that we will emerge on the other side more effective for change. And so that's what this position is urging us to do, that as we decide to be a people that would say, no, we will not retreat, but engage. As we engage, and through the little bits of conversations or actions or things that we may begin to see, by taking those little small steps, 1 grain of sand at a time as we move it, we may begin to actually find greater and effective ways to actually be part of the solution. Think upon this. No one ever has won a battle on retreat. That's not how you win a battle, by retreat. Instead, we win a battle as we choose to forge forward, be on attack, confront what's in front of us as we're moving forward. And so engagement is the way, any form of engagement but retreat. That's the only way we may actually stem the tide of this crisis that we are seeing in our land. And so I want to urge you, adopt a position in the gospel around the crisis that we're seeing in our land at the moment, that will say, I will choose not to retreat into my comforts or my escapism, but I will instead choose to engage these issues, even though I may perhaps not know what I will do the moment I have engaged with it, but I will choose a posture of engagement and trust that through Christ, by the power of His Spirit, as I engage, He will light up our path so that we can be agents of change within our society. See you in the next video.